Welcome, cheesy minions and NGDL fans, to, well, the next week of the NGDL. And, yeah, this is week 4, actually, and, we have a divisional matchup against a guy who, I have some, I have a lot of respect for. One Crash 94, and his Los Angeles Lucario. And, this is a guy who, was a stand-in last league, and, he actually is in my division, so this is a division battle, ever so important. And he's coming in here 1-2, and he actually had, in my opinion, the best team in our division in my power rankings video. Aside from my team, of course, because I can't really rank mine, and I just think it's the best. But no, this is a really, really well-drafted team. It was surprising to see him start 0-2, but he had a big, big win last week, a 5-0 against, I believe it was Tdit. So he's looking to turn his season around, and a win here against me would be huge for him because it would drop us both to 2-2, with obviously him having the tiebreaker. And obviously that's why this game is so important for me as well. Divisional matchups are so important. If I lose this game, I drop to 3rd in the division, so I really don't want to be in that point. I don't want to be in that hole this early, or at all. So it is a very, very actually important matchup here against Los Angeles. So here is my squad. For those who may not have, been paying too much attention, there it is. I have Tabu Lele, I have Heatran, I got Mega B. Yeah, if you want full analysis, just look at other videos. But let me show you his team and let you know what I'm thinking. So yeah, this is a very, very solid draft. And it has a lot of things that is actually going to be somewhat problematic for me going into this week. Obviously, you have the Mew, which is always going to be a little bit unpredictable. Because it can do so many things, and it can also take advantage of my own psychic terrain. So I have to be careful of that. He has Mega Mawile, which is slower than, and he has most part the speed advantage, like most opponents will against my team this season. But Mega Mawile is slow, but obviously it's still it's still a huge threat. It can pretty much one-shot anything it wants, especially after a Swords Dance. Fortunately, I do have the Tapu Lele, which will help me against Sucker Punch. Which is his only priority move. So his only way to outspeed pretty much anything I have. So that's the one good thing. He has Arcanine, which is just a problem within itself. It's a very, very strong draft Pokemon because of how versatile it can be. Suicune is going to be tough to get around if he brings that. Jolteon actually is a big problem for me. In fact, looking at the team I brought, and mind you, I am doing this analysis before the actual battle. I started that last week, but I'm going to do it again this week. I've not played the battle yet as of this recording. But yeah, that Jolteon, looking at what I brought, could potentially be bad. If he's Quick Feet, and I'm worried about Quick Feet, he can outspeed everything. No matter if I bring, no matter if I have, well, not everything. If I have my web set up, but it can outspeed a ton, and it actually threatens. It can do 25% at least to anything it wants. But it's probably just going to try to pivot with Volt Switch. I don't have a ground type, so that's a problem. I do anticipate him bringing Flygon because of my Heatran. And I'm thinking maybe Scyther. We'll see Scyther as well. I'd be kind of surprised if we brought any of the other 3. But it's a draft league. Last week, President Tim surprised me with what he decided to bring. He didn't bring a single one of his OUs. So yeah, he has some interesting problems. So I went actually a little bit different with my team building this week than I did, in previous weeks. But I just have to hope that it's going to work out for me. So without further ado, I'm going to go ahead and play the match. Of course, you're going to go ahead and see it just about now. So there's the teams. No Flygon, which is actually kind of nice to see, because Flygon actually was kind of a worry of mine going into this. He did bring the Suicune, which is good, because I actually am bringing a little something on my Heatran this time, specifically for that Suicune. We're going to see if I can get it off. This battle is going to be very, very close, I feel, going into this. Yeah, it's just going to be a rough one. So anyway, he's going to go ahead and lead with his Jolteon as I lead with my Beedrill. And I actually led with Beedrill because I was worried that Masquerain would be too obvious, and seems like he was trying to catch me off guard there with the Jolteon lead. So that's pretty nice for me because he does not want to take a U-turn on Jolteon. And unless he's Scarfed, I'm going to be able to outspeed him. I'm actually kind of still worried about Quick Feet Jolteon, but unless he has Protect, he wouldn't be able to get it this turn and I'd be faster. So that's pretty awesome for me. I just go for the U-turn. He does go into Arcanine, which is probably his best play because it gets the Intimidate and has the resistance. But now I can go into Masquerain here, and I'm kind of worried about Extreme Speed. I just want to get the Intimidate of my own, and then I'm going to go into Heatran in case he wants to go for a Fire move. Instead, he double switches into his Suicune. So I'm like, okay, I mean, I brought the Gracium Z. Let's go ahead and use it. I'm glad he actually brought Suicune, because I was kind of worried that he might actually go Flygon instead, but I got what I wanted. He goes for the Toxic, revealing that it's an offensive Suicune, so I should be able to kill him with this. So let's go ahead and take a look. I was invested to be able to outspeed a Suicune with very little speed investment. The fact that he outsped me leads me to believe he's offensive, so I'm hoping that I can take it out, and I do. So he was trying to break the switch, going for the Toxic, and I got him there, and it's a good thing for me, because I would have not taken, like, even a Scald very well from an offensive Suicune, even though I do have some bulk investment on my Heatran. But yeah, that's awesome. I'm able to take out that Suicune, which would have been annoying to say the least otherwise. So I'm going to go into my Decidueye here against his Mew, and he does have Earth Power, and Mew is just one of those Pokemon that is impossible to kind of prep against. I have no idea what he was going to do, but I figure that this might force him to switch, but he ends up not. So I'm thinking, okay, maybe Shadow Ball's coming. So I go into my Heatran now, and there is the Shadow Ball. But that U-turn did a lot. It almost did 50%. So I'm like, okay, this is definitely offensive Mew. And I outsped him, so... well, obviously I have the Scarf, so I know he's not Scarf. I was kind of worried maybe a Scarf one to abuse in the Psychic Terrain. But no. He does predict my Decidueye coming back in and goes to Shadow Ball. That kind of sucks for me. But now I'm just going to go for the Spirit Shackle, and this is a Scarf Spirit Shackle, to take out his Mew. So, yeah, I'm going to be able to take out this annoying thing, and that's pretty nice. And in comes his Jolteon again. And I actually, one of the nice things, and one of the reasons I'm bringing Scarf to Decidueye is because it can actually outspeed anything but it can actually outspeed a Jolteon with no speed, no Quick Feet and no Scarf. So I'm actually able to get the outspeed here and get that some critical damage there in the Jolteon. And as you can see, it is Quick Feet Jolteon. So this thing is going to be really hard. Even if I get webs up, this thing's going to be hard to outspeed. But the good news is I got some damage on him, so he does have a turn limit, especially with that burn. Even though burn got nerfed, I still put that term limit there. So in comes Masquerain. I was actually hoping to get the kill here with Masquerain. It would be nice to get Masquerain to kill. But no, I just go for the Scald, figuring that if he does Volt Switch, it'll do a lot into... it's definitely the right move against any of the Pokemon you have remaining. Obviously, Scald threatens with the burn against Scyther in this thing, as well as super effective against Arcanine. So in comes his Mega Mawile, and I'm like, he has to Sucker Punch here. He has no choice, because that Scald is a 2-hit KO. Masquerain actually has a pretty good special attack stat. So I'm like, I'm just going to go ahead and set up my webs now. And that was awesome. Because he does have to go for the Sucker. He goes for that Sucker. Not able to take out Masquerain. And now I'm going to yield my my webs up, which is huge. Because that's going to lower the speed of the Arcanine, which I was worried about. And yeah. Anyway, in comes my Heatran again. And I do that because I was predicting another Sucker. Instead, he goes for a Rocks. So that's interesting. I was not expecting Stealth Rocks. Though he doesn't really have many Stealth Rockers on his team. Seems to be like, I don't know, I just feel like that's kind of a waste of a move on Mawile that you might otherwise need. But anyway, I do have the Earth Power, I'm just going to go for it. He does have the Shucka Berry, so that lowers the power of my ground move. Although, since this thing got Sticky Webbed, I should be faster than it. I actually decided to go for the Stealth Rocks, though, to further damage the Jolteon on switch-in, as well as get that sweet 50% damage on the Scyther when it comes in. And now I'm just going to go for the Earth Power. He doesn't have his Shucka Berry anymore, so that's actually a 2-hit KO. Unfortunately for me, he does have Bulldoze, which is good for him. There was good prep on his part. I was hoping for like close combat, because I could live either. But Bulldoze actually lowers my speed, and now I'm going to be slower than the Arcanine, and it's going to be able to kill me. But that's okay. I'm going to go to my kommo-o now. I do have Earthquake, and I actually kind of derp here. I really should have just killed this Arcanine. I decided to actually go for the Dragon Dance. As soon as I clicked it, I'm like, oh crap, this thing is Will-O-Wisp. What am I doing? So I go for the DT, and he does have Will-O-Wisp. So, but at least I have the +1 speed. So the +1 speed should maybe... Actually, I didn't calculate. I'm just speaking out of my butt right now. The Scyther, if it's Scarfed, is still going to outspeed me. But I maybe can outspeed the Jolteon, because Scyther's not affected by Sticky Webs being its flying type. But now I'm going to go ahead and kill this Arcanine. I do get the KO despite the burn at +1. So that goes down, which is nice. And, yeah, I think I can actually outspeed the Jolteon when he gets -1 in speed, and I obviously have +1. So in comes Scyther, and I do have +1, but if he's Scarfed, he can outspeed me. He does not, though, so he's not Scarfed, and that is pretty good to know. I go for the Outrage. It appears to be Eviolite because it lives that Outrage, which it shouldn't be able to do otherwise, and he does go for the Air Slash, so I know that he's not Scarfed. And I'm just going to go out into my B-drill. And I think I just U-turn, figuring that no matter what, it's just going to, it's going to kill this this here Scyther, which is what I needed. Because the Scyther's not going to switch out, because he can't switch back into the Stealth Rocks. And it's just going to die. And now I can go into Tapu Lele, because his last Pokemon... This is actually a Specs Lele, so he can actually outspeed me with that Jolteon due to the Quick Feet ability, even after the webs. So that's a thing, but I know that he can't kill me with a Shadow Ball, and Mawile doesn't threaten me at all. I do have the Hidden Power Fire for this Mawile specifically, so I'm just going to go for that, because that should be enough to kill this, and the Jolteon. So I go for that. It does kill the Mawile, though I think I could have just done it with Psychic as well. This last Pokemon is Jolteon, which, like I said, I don't think can kill me, and there's a Sticky Web. We're going to find out if it can kill me with a Shadow Ball. I think it would need a crit, and that would be really, really sucky on my part. But no, it does not crit me. And I'm able to take this guy out with a Hidden Power Fire. So that's pretty awesome, actually. Nice to get that win. I needed that win. Yeah, that's gonna, raise me to 3-1. Depending on whether President Tim wins his game this week, that could return me to first in the division, or at the very least, we would be tied at 3-1, though he'd have the tiebreaker because he took me out last week. But either way, this was a very, very important match, because now I'm going to get to 3-1. I pushed my other division rival down to 1-3, with Joey being winless right now. It looks to be a battle between me and President Tim in the division. But make sure you do check out One Crash 94, my opponent. He's a pretty cool guy, definitely a cool guy. This guy's amazing. And he has a really nice YouTube channel, too. So make sure you check him out. Link in the description. And, yeah, this was huge. It was a huge win for the Miami Dolphiones, and I'm hyped. Next week, I believe I have to play, what is it? I play Skep Gandy's Phoenix Inferno, and he's actually doing pretty good. And he has some scary Pokemon like Garchomp and Greninja. But that'll be interesting. So, today's question of the day is going to be... What are your opinions about Melmetal now that we know the base stats and a bit about its learn set? Obviously, we knew of its existence, but now that Let's Go has come out, this is a playable Pokemon Let's Go. Presumably, when Pokemon 2019 comes out, the next real Pokemon game, it'll probably keep the base stats and probably the learn set as well. Basically, today's question today is where do you see this falling in competitive Pokemon, real competitive Pokemon? I'm not talking about Let's Go competitive, because that's just not. As for me, I mean, the base stats are definitely interesting, to abuse with its typing. Its steel typing, it is a, it kind of reminds me of Steelix, except it has a ton of, obviously, it's a lot more physically, it's a lot more offensive. It's slow, which we kind of expected. Sadly, its pre-evolution is not going to be viable. It only has a 300 base stat total, so even with Eviolite, it's not going to be that great. As for its move pool, you take a look, it's kind of a limited move pool in that it has primarily, it seems to have, like, electric moves. It does get Flash Cannon, but, Flash Cannon is special. So its primary attack might just be his double Iron Bash, which is his signature move, which it has a chance to flinch. And it hits the target twice per use. The flinch is not really that going to be relevant, because it's obviously slow as crap, so it might as well not even have the flinch. But it does it twice, so it effectively has a 120 base power, which is kind of nice. I think it's going to be a really nice Pokemon. We don't know what its ability is going to be yet. Well, actually, we do. If it doesn't change, the datamine revealed it was Iron Fist, which increases the power of punching moves. So that would increase the power of I believe that counts as a punching move, double Iron Bash. If it is a punching move, then that would actually be even better. Aside from that, we know that it gets access to Thunder Punch, so it can obviously increase that. Mega Punch, which is probably not going to do. So I would have to imagine it is. So it's going to hit like a truck. I kind of see this thing being like UU, maybe BL. Its speed kind of leaves a lot to be desired, and its lack of special defense. But it still has a lot of HP. I mean, can you imagine this thing actually with an Assault Vest? It would be a monster. It would be an absolute monster. Actually, this thing could actually be OU. But yeah, let me know what you guys think about where it's going to fall once it comes out in a real Pokemon game. Or, a traditional Pokemon game in which we will have access. We still don't know. It might get actually additional TMs. It definitely will, so it might be even more viable than that. It does have access to self-destruct if you can obviously transfer it from Let's Go. It's not a TM in the other games usually, but that is very interesting. But yeah, leave a comment about that, guys, and see you guys again next time. Laters. Bye.